A toothache today means a phone call, an appointment, and a needle full of local anesthetic. For most of human history, none of that existed. And yet skeletons pulled from archaeological sites across the world show something unexpected. Ancient humans didn't just suffer through dental pain. They treated it, drilled it, packed it, and sometimes pulled it with tools that predate metal by thousands of years. Start with the oldest confirmed evidence. In 2001, researchers examining a set of 9,000-year-old skeletons from a Neolithic graveyard in Mehrgarh, Pakistan, found something nobody expected in teeth that old. 11 molars showed small, precisely drilled holes, between 1 and 3 millimeters wide, cut directly into the enamel. The drilling wasn't random damage. The holes were smooth-walled, conical, and consistently placed at the site of visible decay. Researchers led by Roberto Macchiarelli published the findings in Nature, concluding that early Neolithic populations were drilling into cavities with flint-tipped bow drills, the same tool technology used at the time, to bead shells and carve ornaments. The dentist's drill, in its most basic form, is thousands of years older than dentistry as a profession. The pain involved in that procedure is difficult to overstate. There was no anesthesia. The patient would have felt every rotation of the drill bit against exposed nerve tissue. And yet the wear patterns on some of these teeth show the holes weren't made once. Several were re-drilled, meaning people returned for it again. Move forward to ancient Egypt, and the evidence shifts from crude intervention to something closer to organized medical practice. The Edwin Smith papyrus and the Ebers papyrus, both dating to around 1600 BCE, but believed to copy far older source texts, describe remedies for tooth pain using a mixture of cumin, incense, and a plant resin, ground into a paste and packed directly into the cavity. Egyptian skeletal remains have also shown evidence of a different technique. Small holes drilled not into the tooth itself, but into the jawbone beneath an abscess root, allowing built-up pus and pressure to drain. An abscess left untreated doesn't stay local. The infection can spread into the jaw, the sinuses, and in serious cases, the bloodstream. Ancient Egyptian physicians, without any understanding of bacteria, had identified a version of the correct surgical response purely through observation. Drainage relieves pressure. Pressure relief relieves pain. The Ebers papyrus also lists something stranger, a recommended treatment for a toothache attributed to a worm believed to be living inside the tooth. This wasn't unique to Egypt. Versions of the toothworm appear independently in Mesopotamian cuneiform tablets, in ancient Chinese medical texts, and later in European folk medicine that persisted well into the 1700s. The theory held for thousands of years across cultures that never had contact with each other. Toothaches often occur in teeth with visible cavities, dark, hollowed-out holes in the enamel that, to the naked eye of someone with no microscope, look exactly like something has burrowed inside and eaten its way through. The explanation was wrong, but it was wrong in a way that made complete sense given what people could actually see. The Romans took the mechanical side further. Roman medical writer Cornelius Celsus, writing in the 1st century CE, described tooth extraction in detail, using metal forceps specifically designed to grip a loosened tooth without shattering it, a real risk given the crude iron alloys available. Celsus also recommended a wax or lead filling material to plug a cavity and prevent it from collapsing further before extraction became necessary. Archaeologists have recovered Roman-era skulls with teeth stabilized by thin gold wire wrapped around a loose or broken tooth and anchored to its neighbors, an early form of what a modern dentist would recognize as a splint. Not every ancient culture treated the tooth in isolation. In medieval Europe, tooth extraction was frequently performed not by physicians but by barbers, the same barbers who cut hair and performed minor bloodletting, using the era's straightforward blacksmith tools, forceps, small chisels, and a device called a pelican, shaped roughly like the bird's beak, designed to lever a tooth out of its socket with mechanical force rather than a straight pull. The barber-surgeon model persisted for centuries, in part because there was no organized dental profession to replace it, and in part because the guild structures of the time simply grouped blade work together, regardless of which part of the body it was performed on. Across nearly every one of these cultures, one theme repeats. The pain of an infected tooth was severe enough that people were willing to undergo procedures with real risk of complication, infection, or death, using tools built from stone, bronze, or iron without anesthesia, based on an understanding of anatomy that was often incomplete or entirely wrong. What they lacked in accurate theory, they made up for with something closer to applied trial and error passed down over generations. Watch what relieves the pain, repeat it, refine the tool. The honest picture that emerges isn't one of primitive suffering with no recourse. It's closer to parallel medicine, cultures separated by oceans and thousands of years independently arriving at drilling, draining, and extracting as the answer to the same problem, guided only by the same signal every one of us still responds to instantly. Pain that doesn't stop in a body that has nowhere else for it to go. Thanks for watching. Follow me and see you on the next one.